Derby County are searching for forward reinforcements and one that could potentially come in and challenge Jerry Yates. At the moment, with James Collins and Dejon Brown sitting on the bench, not really getting much game time, it shows that Paul Warne wants something a little bit better. Is that going to come in the name of Reading forward Sam Smith? He's had a decent career so far coming through the Reading Academy, playing for a range of clubs down in those lower divisions, the likes of Shrewsbury, Tranmere, Cheltenham, Oxford and Cambridge. But he's now back at Reading and he's had a really good life there so far. But unfortunately, that off-field turmoil could potentially call the end of his time at Reading. He's currently contracted until the end of 2026, which makes this deal one which Derby County could potentially get done. Now, Sam Smith is valued at around €600,000 by Transfer Market, and at 26 years of age, standing at 1.81 metres tall, I think he'll have a massive impact in that centre forward role just behind Jerry Yates in the pecking order on the depth chart. Now, we obviously talk about this deal in massive vein because Derby County have been looking at strikers for years and years and never really seem to have found the right one. Jerry Yates has been good, but ultimately misses the onion bag more than he scores, which is difficult to deal with. And then you've got someone like James Collins, who in my opinion is past it at this moment in time. Connor Washington is always injured and essentially we're paying a wage for someone to just have rehab. And then you've got Dejon Brown, who ultimately Paul Warne quite clearly does not trust. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see how the likes of Paul Warne and Derby's recruitment staff do deal with this potential deal for Sam Smith, because it is one which could be a really cheap deal. Because the rumour has it that Reading are closing in on administration. As we're talking on the 12th of January, they aren't in administration right now, but there is a potential for it. And it's difficult to see that because as Derby County fans, we know how that can be. And we know that you get picked apart in administration. And we're looking at two of their players in Harvey Nibbs and Sam Smith. Two players who I believe would have a massive impact on Derby County's future going forward. And to be able to see that happen would be difficult. I wouldn't want us to take him for pennies, but obviously a decent deal. I personally think anywhere between £250,000 to £500,000 for Sam Smith and a similar sort of fee for Harvey Nibbs is a really good deal in my opinion. Now, obviously, when we talk about this, we have to talk about his career so far. Obviously, most notably a centre forward, but he's played 143 times for Cambridge, scoring 43 goals, collecting 7 assists. At Reading, he's played 71 times for the first team, 27 goals and 2 assists. He's also made 23 appearances for Oxford with 3 goals and 1 assist, 21 appearances for Cheltenham, 4 goals and 1 assist. All of these clubs have had massive impact on his development so far, and for me, I think there is a real potential that Derby County could make this deal work, and I think there's a potential that it really could be a good deal moving forward for not just Derby County but also for Reading and for Sam Smith. Sam Smith's going to then get the opportunity to play in the Championship and potentially earn Reading more money, because I think you could potentially slip in a sell-on fee or something for Reading, or when he scores 50 goals they get X amount of money, and I think that would have a really big impact and a really big helping to pushing Sam Smith potentially to Derby County. Now, obviously there's going to be other clubs interested once these situations unfold. We know that with Harvey Nibbs there's a few clubs circling, just similar to Louis Barry really, and then when we talk about Sam Smith it's going to be the same. And I do believe that Sam Smith could come into Derby and have a massive impact on what we've got going on. I think he could offer real support for Jerry Yates, which we don't really have at the minute. Jerry Yates will play 60, 70 minutes, gas out, and then we have to bring on James Collins because Paul Warne doesn't trust Dejon Brown. And that's where I think Sam Smith could come in. Or obviously a Richard Kone. Now, obviously there's Lasse Nordas as well. Now, for me, I don't think Derby County signed 4 strikers. So you've obviously got Kone, Smith and Nordas, who are all linked with Derby County at the moment. And that's 3 players who play the same position. I can't see us signing 3 strikers in January. I can see 1, maybe 2 at a push, depending on financial circumstances. Now, if Derby County have what I believe they have, which I believe they've got between £1 and £2 million to spend, not by anything other than guesswork, that's just my personal opinion based on the players we're looking at, and potentially what we've saved in Sonny Bradley going out, potentially Joe Ward as well. I think we could get 3-4 permanent transfers in for around obviously £500,000, and that would be a massive deal for Derby County. It would really improve the squad depth. It would really improve the squad as well, because I think Sam Smith is better than Collins, Washington and a current Dejon Brown. Obviously Dejon Brown has a lot of potential to build going forwards, but right now hasn't quite hit that potential level. Now the big question for me will be, over the course of the next few months, at Derby County, at Reading, what is the situation going to be? Reading right now don't have to sell, and if they get to the end of the January transfer window without going into administration, they still don't have to sell. So there's a potential deal here where Reading hold firm, and then when they go into administration, Derby County can then pick it off for next season. But I personally don't believe Derby will do that. I think what Derby County are probably going to do is, if they want Sam Smith, I think we get Sam Smith. But I think the deal will be, if I think Sam Smith may end up pushing for a potential stay at Reading. Obviously came through the academy, had some excellent times there, obviously hitting form recently. I think they're in the battle for playoffs at the moment, and it's a real possibility that they could go up, which is why I think administration has a big part to play in what happens with Reading. They've been in this situation with their owner for years upon years upon years, and ultimately they don't seem to ever have a way out. Obviously Rob Couig, the former Wycombe Wanderers owner, tried to buy them. That deal fell flat on its arse. There's another group potentially interested at the moment, which I've heard about, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, because that will hold a massive impact on what they do in this window. Because if that deal is close, then they've got no reason to sell, and they could potentially go up to the Championship next season, where we'll be playing each other. So that would leave both Nibs and Smith not making the move to Derby County. So obviously I'd really intrigued to know your thoughts on this one down in the comments, because I know Sam Smith is a bit of a polarising figure within the footballing world, especially when it comes to Derby County, because we chased after him last season and Harvey Nibs when he left Cambridge, and we weren't able to make a deal work. And I think it all fell down to the fact that he came through at Reading and things like that, and then Nibs and Smith had a good relationship, so they sort of went together. So it's going to be interesting to see what does happen with this one. I think it could be a really good deal for Derby County, but it's one which we're going to have to see over the course of the next few weeks, next few months. And you can obviously let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Tomorrow morning we will be talking all about Tom Barkhazen and Connor Washington, as they potentially look set to end their time at Derby County. Will they be leaving on loan? Will they have their contracts terminated, or will they stay until the end of the season? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. We'll discuss that later on. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, hit the like button as well, and I'll catch you in my next video.